Welcome to Algebra Chapter 2, Section 3, Solving Multi-Step Equations. Here's the first addition to your notes. It's the 4 steps for solving multi-step equations. Put these in your notes. In the next unit, we'll come up with a 5th step that actually fits in the middle of these. And those we'll put both in your agenda and your notes, but that's the next section. Here's example number 2 in your notes. Notice I have used the upper right-hand corner to list the steps. And the first step is distribute on either side of the equation if necessary. We have no parentheses here, so there's no distribution. So we're going to move on to step 2. Combine like terms on each side separately. Well, to do that, we need to determine what like terms are. This is a constant. These are letter terms or variable terms. They each have a variable. And since they each have the same exact variable raised to the same exact power, they are like terms. And we can combine them. As we combine them, we need to work left to right following order of operations. So we have 5m minus 23m is negative 18m. And we bring everything else straight down so we don't get confused. Then I combine negative 18m plus 2m. I get a negative 16m. Now my next step is to undo addition subtraction. Well, there's no addition, subtraction, undo, so I move on to step 4. Undo multiplication, division. Now to undo this negative 16m, I could divide both sides by 16m, or I could multiply by the reciprocal. It's the same thing. To give you a little different view, I'm going to multiply this one by the reciprocal. As you can see, the 16s will cancel, leaving me m. And on the left-hand side, I have 5 times 1, which is 5, over 16 times 1, which is negative 16. So negative 5/16 equals m. Martha takes her niece and nephew to a concert. She buys t-shirts and bumper stickers for them. The bumper stickers cost $1 a piece. Martha's niece wants 1 shirt and 4 bumper stickers. Her nephew wants 2 shirts but no bumper stickers. Her total is $67. Well, by total being $67, we know it's going to equal 67. Now her niece wants 1 shirt and 4 bumper stickers. Her nephew wants 2 shirts. We need to determine the cost of 1 shirt. Combine like terms on each side. So our like terms here is the S and the S. So we have 3S plus 4B equals 67. Now we have another piece of information we haven't looked at. If you look up here, we know the bumper stickers cost $1 each. So our B is 1. So we're going to have 3S plus 4 times 1 equals 67. Now, the next step is undo addition subtraction. So we need to undo this addition. What I do to one side, I must do to the other. We'll see that 3s equals 63. So we're going to divide both sides by 3. I can also multiply by the reciprocal. Those cancel. So s equals 21. So the cost of a shirt is $21. This is a problem that requires all 4 steps of our steps for solving multi-step equations. Step 1, distribute on either side of the equation. So we're going to go ahead and distribute. Negative 8 times 2x is negative 16x. Negative 8 times negative 1 is a positive 8. Of course, we have equals 36. Step 2, combine like terms. We have no like terms here. We have a single x, and this is a constant, and here's a solution which is also a constant. So then we undo addition subtraction. So we're going to undo our addition. What I do to one side, I must do to the other. So I have negative 16x equals 28. And then I'm going to undo my multiplication division. And this time I'm going to divide by negative 16 on both sides to use this. So I have x equals 28/16 negative, which can also be 1 and 12/16, again negative, which can also be a negative 1 and 3/4. When I finish, there is a way to get rid of fractions when working with equations, and I'm going to show that to you. Let's just say for a moment you do not like fractions, and we need to work with a way for you to get rid of the fractions in the equation. Well, if you look at this, we have a 4 and a 3. Now, 4 and a 3 are both multiples of what numbers? Do you know? That's right, 12. So we can get rid of this if we distribute the 12 throughout this equation. And again, what we do to one side, we must do to the other. So when we distribute 12, we're going to get 12 times 3/4 x minus 12 times 1/3 x equals 12 times 10, which is 120. And we go ahead, we can do some cross canceling here. Put our 12s over 1 to make them fractions. 4 goes into 4 one time. 12 divided by 4 is 3. So that makes a 9x. The second equation, 3 goes into itself one time. 3 goes into 12 four times. So 4 times 1 makes a 4x. And again, I still equal 120 because I didn't do anything to that side except simplify. Now from this point, it becomes pretty apparent that 9x plus 4x equals 5x. And 5x equals 120. From here, we follow our steps. So 5 times x, to undo that, we're going to divide by 5. And what I do to one side, I must do to the other. So canceling these, I get x equals 24. Now I need to put that back into an equation to solve it. So I need to put it back in the original equation in case I made a mistake in the very first step. Since x equals 24, I put 24 in place of the x, and now I'm going to do some cross canceling. Well, 4 goes into 4 one time, 4 goes into 24 6 times, so this becomes 18. 3 goes into itself once, 3 goes into 24 8 times, so that becomes an 8. And we find that this is a true statement, so I know that x does equal 24. And something you might also find exciting is that you can get rid of decimals. Decimals can get ugly in an equation because they cause round-off error. So let's talk about what moves decimal places. If we have the decimal 0.5, how do I get that decimal to move over to become a 5? Well, 0.5 is 5/10. And so to move that, I need to multiply it by 10. Okay, what if I have 0.14? Well, 0.14, I want it to become 14. Well, 0.14 is 14 hundredths. So I'm going to multiply it by 100 to get it to move over 2. And likewise, say I have the decimal 0.213. And I want that to become 213. Well, 213, that's 213 thousandths. When you will multiply that by 1,000 to get 213. So let's try this with a problem. Looking at this problem, we have a tenths place, and we have a hundredths place, and we have a hundredths place. So it's to our benefit to multiply everything by 100. And what I do to one side, I must do to the other. So 100 times 3.5, it's going to move the decimal point 2 places, so it's going to be 350. 100 times negative 0.02x, again move the decimal point 2 places, so I'll have 2x. Now my equal sign, and over here on the right, I'll have 100 times 1.24, moving the decimal point 2 places, is 124. I'm going to follow my steps. I've done the distribute. I have combined like terms, so now I need to add and subtract from both sides. So I'm going to subtract 350 from the left, subtract 350 from the right. Remember, my goal is to get this 2x by itself and then the x by itself. So this is going to equal negative 2x equals, now I'm going to divide both sides by negative 2 or multiply by negative 1/2 and get x equals a positive 1/3. 3. Here's the last slide. Here I ask you to look over this lesson check to make sure you understand what's going on. Um, all I am really asking you to do is to do this part, whose method do you prefer, and explain why you prefer that method. But make sure you understand what's going on in each case so you're able to complete both problems.